Have you ever walked into a room full of people and immediately felt out of place? Too intense? Too different? Or simply too quiet? Maybe you found yourself retreating inward, overwhelmed by the noise of small talk or feeling disconnected from those around you. This sensation is more common than you might think, especially among highly intelligent individuals. For many, the world doesn't quite feel like a welcoming space, and the loneliness that comes with that difference can be deeply alienating. Throughout history, society has often misunderstood and marginalized those who think differently or more deeply. The experience of being intellectually too much or too little for others can lead to isolation, but also to a unique form of self-awareness and strength. This complex relationship between intelligence and society was keenly observed by Arthur Schopenhauer, a 19th-century philosopher who famously described intelligence as both a blessing and a burden. Schopenhauer believed that profound thinkers often found themselves at odds with the world around them, caught between the desire for connection and the necessity of solitude. In this video, we'll explore why true intelligence is frequently rejected or feared by society, and why solitude, far from being merely lonely, can serve as a powerful refuge and source of liberation for the thoughtful mind. By understanding this dynamic, we can begin to appreciate the value of intellectual solitude and the resilience it fosters in those who dare to see the world differently. The early signs of alienation. During school years, many children start to feel a growing sense of alienation, not because they are unpopular or ostracized outright, but because they experience a quiet disconnect from their peers. While others focus on surface-level interests like trends, sports, or casual gossip, some kids find themselves drawn to deeper questions and ideas that others seem uninterested in or even uncomfortable with. This early feeling of being out of place is often the first sign of alienation. It is important to distinguish this alienation from a feeling of superiority. Those who feel alienated do not necessarily believe they are better than their peers. Instead, they simply experience a different way of engaging with the world, one that values emotional and philosophical depth over superficial conversations. This disconnect creates a silent divide, where the intelligent individual is neither actively excluded nor accepted, but drifts quietly to the margins of social circles. Social dynamics in this context often become challenging. Asking why repeatedly, probing beneath the surface of everyday topics, or showing genuine curiosity about life's bigger questions can make others uneasy. The discomfort arises not from malice, but from unfamiliarity. Many peers are not equipped or willing to engage with such complexity, preferring simpler, more familiar interactions. As a result, the child who seeks meaning may find themselves sidelined or misunderstood. This phenomenon, where intelligence becomes a source of isolation, is sometimes referred to as the silent curse. It is not academic brilliance that isolates, but rather a heightened emotional sensitivity and a capacity for deep philosophical thought. This depth sets intelligent individuals apart in subtle ways that can be lonely. Recognizing and validating these feelings is crucial. Alienation during school years is common among those who are truly intelligent, and understanding this can foster empathy. Rather than feeling abnormal or flawed, these individuals can find comfort in knowing that their unique perspective is shared by others who also see the world through a more profound lens. The paradox of intelligence in society. Intelligence is often hailed as one of humanity's greatest virtues, celebrated for its potential to drive innovation, solve complex problems, and elevate society as a whole. Yet, paradoxically, in everyday social contexts, intelligence can provoke fear, discomfort, and even rejection. While society admires intelligence in theory, applauding geniuses, innovators, and intellectual achievements, it frequently resists or marginalizes those who embody this trait in practice. One reason for this tension is that intelligent individuals tend to challenge established norms and disrupt comfort zones. Their questioning minds and critical thinking threaten the status quo, prompting unease among those who prefer familiar routines and unexamined traditions. When social norms are questioned or overturned, discomfort arises, and those who challenge collective complacency can be perceived as destabilizing forces rather than valued contributors. Moreover, intelligent people often struggle with superficial social interactions. In many social settings, conversations focus on small talk or surface-level topics that lack depth or meaning. Deep thinkers find such interactions unfulfilling, craving instead meaningful exchanges that explore ideas, values, and truths. This mismatch between the desire for profound connection and the prevalence of shallow social engagement can lead to feelings of alienation. This alienation carries an emotional cost: loneliness in a crowd. Even surrounded by others, intelligent individuals may feel isolated, longing for relationships that resonate with their intellectual and emotional depth. The pain of this solitude is intensified by society's emphasis on conformity and social harmony, which often discourages genuine self-expression. To navigate these challenges, many intelligent people adopt a mask, a social facade that hides their true thoughts and feelings to fit in more comfortably. This adaptive strategy, though helpful in avoiding conflict, further deepens their internal divide between authentic selfhood and social expectations. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer famously noted that intelligence often leads to isolation because it threatens societal comfort. His insight captures the core of this paradox. Society fears the disruption intelligence can bring, resulting in the marginalization of those who think deeply. Ultimately, while intelligence is publicly admired, its private cost is frequently solitude and misunderstanding, a paradox reflecting the complex relationship between the individual mind and the collective social fabric. The psychological and evolutionary explanation. Modern scientific research increasingly validates Arthur Schopenhauer's observation that intelligent individuals often experience lower satisfaction with frequent socializing. This phenomenon can be understood through both psychological and evolutionary lenses. One key concept is cognitive loneliness, a state where an individual feels isolated despite being physically surrounded by others. This occurs because intelligent people often have unique patterns of thinking and processing information that differ from the majority. They may find it difficult to connect deeply with others whose perspectives are less complex or who engage at a more superficial level. Thus, while social interactions occur, true intellectual and emotional resonance remains elusive, fostering a sense of loneliness even in company. This experience is exacerbated by an evolutionary mismatch. Human brains evolved to function within small, tight-knit social groups, where cooperation and social harmony were crucial for survival. In such settings, social interactions were relatively straightforward and homogeneous. However, modern intelligent individuals often possess minds that are more analytical, reflective, and nuanced, traits that don't always align with the demands or dynamics of contemporary social environments. The rapid expansion of social networks and the diversity of interactions can overwhelm brains optimized for smaller, simpler groups, leading to discomfort or dissatisfaction in social contexts. Psychologically, intelligent people tend to exhibit emotional dysregulation and heightened sensitivity. The cognitive burden of processing multiple layers of thought, analytical, emotional, and existential, can create a complex internal landscape that is difficult to navigate socially. This heightened emotional intensity and overexcitability, identified by psychologists studying gifted individuals, means that social experiences can be both deeply rewarding and deeply taxing. An internal conflict often arises between the desire for meaningful connection and the fear of rejection or misunderstanding. Intelligent individuals may crave authentic relationships where they can express their complex thoughts and feelings, yet worry that revealing too much might alienate others or expose vulnerabilities. This tension can lead to social withdrawal or guardedness, further reducing satisfaction with socializing. In summary, the interplay of cognitive loneliness, evolutionary mismatch, emotional sensitivity, and internal social conflicts explains why highly intelligent people might find frequent social interactions less fulfilling. Psychological insights into overexcitability and emotional intensity reinforce Schopenhauer's claim, providing a modern scientific foundation for understanding this nuanced aspect of human experience. The social rejection mechanism. Human social dynamics often punish those who stand out intellectually, triggering a complex mechanism of social rejection rooted in ego threat and envy. When intelligence exposes others' insecurities, it can destabilize group cohesion by challenging perceived hierarchies and social norms. One key factor is the ego threat that intelligent individuals pose. When someone demonstrates superior knowledge or insight, it can make others feel insecure about their own abilities. This insecurity often breeds envy, which fuels resentment toward the intelligent individual. The exposure of others' intellectual shortcomings threatens their self-esteem, prompting defensive reactions. The Dunning-Kruger effect further compounds this phenomenon. This cognitive bias leads less competent individuals to overestimate their skills and knowledge. When confronted with genuinely intelligent people, those affected by this bias may react negatively, perceiving the intellectual as arrogant or a threat to their self-perceived competence. This dynamic often results in the dismissal or devaluation of intelligent voices, reinforcing a cycle of misunderstanding and rejection. From a social psychology perspective, group conformity plays a crucial role. Groups tend to enforce norms strictly to maintain cohesion and predictability. Those who question or challenge these norms, especially through displays of superior intellect, are often feared and marginalized. This fear stems from the threat nonconformity poses to the group's established order. Intelligent dissenters may be labeled as troublemakers or outsiders, effectively silencing disruptive but potentially valuable perspectives. Historically, this social rejection mechanism has targeted some of the greatest minds. Figures like Socrates, Galileo, Tesla, and Alan Turing faced ostracism or persecution for revealing uncomfortable truths that contradicted prevailing beliefs. Their experiences highlight how societies often resist intellectual progress when it disrupts entrenched ideologies. In modern contexts, this rejection persists in workplaces, schools, and social media platforms. Intelligent voices that challenge conventional wisdom or dominant narratives are frequently sidelined, dismissed as arrogant, or even vilified. This tendency discourages open dialogue and innovation, favoring conformity over critical thinking. Ultimately, the price of nonconformity is social exile, a survival mechanism groups use to protect themselves from disruption. While this mechanism preserves short-term cohesion, it risks long-term stagnation by suppressing the very individuals capable of driving progress and change. Arthur Schopenhauer's philosophy presents a profound meditation on solitude and suffering, distinguishing solitude from loneliness. For Schopenhauer, solitude is a deliberate choice, a refuge and source of clarity, rather than a painful state of isolation. Unlike loneliness, which is marked by lack and yearning, solitude allows one to step back from the noise of the world and gain insight into the true nature of existence. Central to Schopenhauer's thought is the idea that intelligence is a burden rather than a blessing. The intelligent person is not glamorous or carefree. Instead, they carry the heavy responsibility of perceiving the world as it truly is, stripped of comforting illusions. This heightened awareness makes life's inevitable suffering more acute. Suffering, for Schopenhauer, is deeply connected to awareness. The more conscious one becomes, the more one feels the pain inherent in existence. At the heart of Schopenhauer's metaphysics lies the concept of the will, a blind, irrational force that drives all beings. Most people are consumed by this will, chasing desires blindly and thereby perpetuating their own suffering. However, the intelligent few can detach themselves from this relentless striving, observing the will without being enslaved by it. This detachment brings suffering, but it also opens the door to deeper understanding. Schopenhauer believed that transformation through art, philosophy, and contemplation offers a way to transcend suffering. Engaging with these higher pursuits allows the individual to momentarily escape the will's demands and glimpse a reality beyond desire and pain. In this way, suffering becomes a path to wisdom and enlightenment. Ultimately, Schopenhauer's message is not one of despair, but of awakening. You are not broken, you are awake. The intelligent suffer because they see clearly, but in that suffering lies the potential for profound insight and freedom. Finding meaning and connection beyond society. In a world flooded with superficial interactions, the rare connection, the kind that resonates deeply with one's soul, can feel elusive. Many yearn not for casual acquaintances, but for people who truly understand and reflect their inner worlds. This longing stems from an innate desire for authentic resonance, a bond that transcends surface-level chatter. True connection demands more than comfort. It requires courage and vulnerability. Choosing truth over ease means exposing our imperfections, fears, and doubts. It's in these raw moments that real bonds form, as people meet not who they pretend to be, but who they genuinely are. Such courage, while daunting, opens doors to relationships grounded in honesty rather than convenience. Equally important is embracing one's nature, recognizing that intelligence and solitude are not flaws, but gifts. In solitude, the mind has space to reflect deeply, fostering insights that noise and distraction often drown out. Accepting this nature allows one to find peace even without constant social validation, transforming solitude from isolation into a sanctuary for growth. Beyond human connection lies a higher communion, with truth, beauty, art, and one's own soul. These connections surpass societal approval, offering profound fulfillment that cannot be measured by popularity or conformity. They remind us that meaning often resides not in the external, but in the internal landscapes we cultivate. Modern psychology increasingly affirms that isolation or withdrawal is not necessarily failure or dysfunction, but can signal profound thoughtfulness and introspection. Such moments of solitude may precede breakthroughs in understanding, creativity, and self-awareness, essential steps on the path to a meaningful life. Throughout history, society has often rejected the truly intelligent, not out of spite, but out of fear. The disruptive nature of profound insight challenges established norms and comfort zones, unsettling the collective equilibrium. Intelligent minds illuminate truths that can be uncomfortable, pushing others to confront inconvenient realities. This fear of disruption breeds resistance, leaving those who see more deeply isolated and misunderstood. Yet, this solitude is not a flaw or a punishment. It is a hallmark of a rare, awakened mind. Loneliness for the truly intelligent signals a profound divergence from the crowd, a testament to independent thought rather than social failure. It is a space where ideas ferment and grow, where creativity and wisdom take root beyond the noise of superficial approval. Rather than despair in solitude, embrace it as liberation. Solitude offers clarity, self-discovery, and freedom from the constraints of conformity. It is not the absence of connection, but a fertile ground from which authentic relationships can emerge. Relationships built on mutual respect and shared intellectual curiosity rather than mere convenience or acceptance. The call to action is clear. Seek out your tribe of thinkers, those who challenge and uplift you. Cultivate meaningful connections that honor your depth and vision. Do not settle for shallow acceptance or the hollow comfort of conformity. True belonging comes from authenticity, not compromise. As Arthur Schopenhauer profoundly observed, a man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom. For it is only when he is alone that he is really free. Embrace your solitude. It is the gateway to true wisdom and freedom.